Okay, now it's time to look at the dink. Now, this shot is made for seniors, but more about that a bit later. Okay, for senior pickleball players, mastering the dink is crucial to playing smarter, not harder. The dink shot, a soft, controlled hit from the kitchen across the net into their kitchen, can neutralize your opponent's aggressive play, extend rallies, and create opportunities to win points. While it may not be as flashy as a drive or a smash, a well executed dink can help our senior players stay competitive by using strategy and precision over speed and power. Right, let's look at the dink technique. Finesse over force. The dink is about control and precision. While other shots may require power, the dink thrives on soft touch and timing. So let's dive into the key elements of a successful forehand dink. Grip and paddle position. The ideal grip for a forehand dink is the good old continental grip, also known as the handshake grip. This allows you to adjust quickly between dinks, volleys, and other shots with minimal wrist movement. Keep your grip light and relaxed to maintain a soft touch on the ball. Here's a tip. Grip your paddle softly, maybe on a 3 to 4 on a scale of 10. Paddle position. Your paddle face should be slightly open, that is, angled upward, allowing you to lift the ball gently over the net. Avoid swinging at the ball. Instead, use a short, controlled motion, lock your wrist and elbow, and use your shoulder to gently power the shot. Let's look at stance and footwork. Stance. Begin in a balanced stance with your knees slightly bent and weight on the balls of your feet. Your body should be facing the net, ready to pivot and move to either side. This helps with balance and quick reactions. Footwork. Right. Good footwork is essential for getting into the right position for a dink. Avoid reaching for the ball with just your paddle. Instead, shuffle your feet to move into place, positioning yourself so that the ball is comfortably within reach in front of you. If you're too far from the ball, you'll be more likely to pop it up, giving your opponents an easy shot to attack. Here's a tip. Get your body straight on facing the ball as it comes to you. Use your footwork to shuffle into position to hit a forehand dink. You need to have your paddle facing the ground and then hit the shot in front of you at about knee height, getting the power from your shoulder, a bit like a golf shot where you lock your wrist and elbow. Now, this seems so weird at first, but persevere. You need this shot in your game. Now, here's a personal tip. I came from tennis and I was trying to do this dink shot like a tennis drop shot. And it can work when you get better at pickleball, but it's not a good idea to start it like that. Start the dink with these techniques that I've just explained. Tip: don't hesitate to run around your backhand to hit mainly forehand dinks. While dinking, you'll have the time to do this, right? And with most players, the forehand dink is generally a more reliable shot than your backhand dink. Let's look at the contact point and follow through. I've been through this, but it is so important. Make contact with the ball in front of your body, ideally at knee to waist height. A soft upward push with your paddle will guide the ball over the net without generating too much force. The goal is to send the ball low and slow, just over the net, so it lands in your opponent's kitchen. Follow through. Unlike power shots, that require a big follow through, the forehand dink should have a short, controlled follow through. After hitting the ball, your paddle should move slightly upward and forward, but keep the motion smooth and subtle. Too much follow through will lift the ball too high, allowing your opponent to attack. Here's a great tip. Imagine the ball staying on your paddle for as long as possible as you stroke it upwards. Right, let's look at the backhand dink. To execute a successful backhand dink, start with a relaxed grip and a soft touch. Similar to the forehand, keep the wrist firm but flexible. Use a short backswing and gently forward motion to guide the ball over the net. Bend your knees, that's important, and stay low to improve balance and control. Position yourself so that you can step into the shot, ensuring consistency and accuracy. Tip. This is the third time I've said this. It's important. The action comes from your shoulder. Keep the wrist and elbow locked, not dissimilar to a short game golf chip to get your ball onto the green. Now, with the backhand dink, there is also the backhand, the double backhand topspin dink. So if you have a double backhand and you have a bit of a topspin on the double backhand, you can use this when you're dinking in a gentle way. So when the ball is beyond you on the backhand side, you can reach over and you can give a little bit of a topspin. Takes a little while to get used to it, but persevere. 2, let's look at tactics. Using the dink to control the game. The dink is a tactical shot that forces your opponent to play at your pace. By keeping the ball low and within the kitchen, you can maintain control of the rally and wait for your opponent to make a mistake. And that is the key. Patience is the key. Dinking requires patience and mental discipline, something us seniors should be good at. Many players, especially those who rely on power, may become frustrated during long dink exchanges, and they try to speed up the game with a risky shot. By maintaining a steady and controlled dink game, you force your opponents into uncomfortable territory. The longer the rally, the more likely they are to make an error or pop the ball up, giving you the chance to attack. Here's a tip. This is what I do sometimes. This game of patience is especially good for us seniors. So say to yourself, okay, I'm prepared to dink 100 times. Are you? If you're playing younger players, use this to your advantage. Vary your placement. Should you go cross court or should you go down the line? Right, a common mistake is always dinking to the same spot. While consistency is important, you should also mix up your placement to keep your opponent guessing. A cross-court dink gives you more court space to work with and is certainly less risky. By dinking cross-court, you can make your opponent cover more ground, which is particularly effective if they struggle with mobility. Tip: be careful of hitting the ball too wide to your opponent. Your opponent could do an ATP around the post, but don't worry about this too much, as hitting an ATP is pretty difficult, and they need probably to be a 3.5 rating really to be able to do this, but beware of it. And also, if someone's dinking to you wide, give it a go. Have some fun. All right, down the line dinking. Down the line dinking is more direct and puts additional pressure on your opponent, especially if they are slow to react or they're positioned too far forward toward the center of the court. This can create an opening for you to exploit on your next shot. Also, think about dinking to the middle. Dinking to the middle of the court can cause confusion between opponents in doubles, as they may hesitate over who should take the shot. This tactic works particularly well against teams that have, how should we say, communication issues. So exploit it if you need to. How do I choose which dink to play? Should I go cross court or should I go down the line? One general rule is this: if the ball lands inside your outside foot, hit your dink cross court. If the ball lands outside your outside foot, down the line or into the middle. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because that's quite important. Okay, how do I choose which dink to play? Do I play cross court or do I play down the line? One general rule is if the ball lands inside your outside foot, dink it cross court. If the ball lands outside your outside foot, dink it down the line or into the middle. Keep your dink low and soft. The primary goal of the dink is to keep the ball low so that your opponent has to hit up on the return, making it difficult for them to attack. A well-executed dink will land softly in the kitchen and barely rise off the ground, forcing your opponent to make a difficult return. The slower and lower the dink, the more likely it is to result in a weak or popped up return. Set up the attack. While the dinking is a neutralizing shot, it's also a setup for more aggressive play. If your opponent pops the ball up too high, be ready to pounce with an attack. Anticipate when your dinks are putting them under pressure. You move in to finish the point with a volley or a smash. Dinking consistently can wear down your opponents and create the perfect opening for you to take control of the rally. Right, here's a tip. Don't forget about the lob from a dink. This is an excellent option every now and again. So check out the lesson on lobbing and the podcast on lobbing where we go through this a little bit. Don't do this lob from a dink too much, but every now and again, it's a great option. Right, let's look now, thirdly, at strategy. How senior players can use the dink effectively. Now, for us senior players, the dink is more than just a soft shot. It's a smart strategy for staying competitive without overexerting ourselves. Here's how to use the dink as part of your overall game. Conserving energy. One of the best things about dinking is that it allows you to play long rallies without expending a lot of energy. Instead of chasing after fast-paced drives and volleys, you can slow the game down, keep the ball in play, and force your opponent to run. This is especially useful for us seniors who want to play strategically rather than bish, bash, bosh. Play safe yet smart. While you want to keep the ball low and soft, don't be afraid to get creative with your dinks. Use angles, mix up your placement, and occasionally throw in a fast dink to catch your opponent off guard. At the same time, avoid overhitting or taking unnecessary risks. The goal is to stay in control of the rally while minimizing unforced errors. Here's a tip. Dink across the court over the center of the net, especially for beginners. This is where you have more room to get your dink in. Simple geometry shows that a down the line dink has far less room and there is less margin for error. Okay, defend the kitchen line. The kitchen line is a critical area in pickleball and senior players should focus on controlling it. By staying near the kitchen line and consistently dinking, you force your opponent to play low percentage shots. Be prepared to step back quickly if your opponent tries to lob, but otherwise maintain a strong presence at the kitchen line to put pressure on them. Okay, that is basically the dink. To conclude, as senior players like us who've got years of experience reading your opponents and anticipating their shots, maybe from other sports, dinking plays right into our strengths. By keeping rallies alive and forcing our opponents to play soft, controlled shots, we can use our superior court awareness to stay one step ahead, looking for opportunities to outmaneuver our opponents by varying our shot placement and patiently waiting for mistakes. Although the pros are starting to drive the ball more, the dink is still an incredibly important shot, the one you need to master if you want to progress. Okay, that's it for the dink. Keep dinking and keep playing, play safe and have fun. Okay, bye for now.